If I speak about Arsenal and what happened to them over the weekend, I'll be in big trouble. But what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time once again for the Champions League predictions, week number 4. Massive shout out to all the new patrons over on Patreon supporting the channel. We are nearing 100 paid members over there, and once we get there, we're going to do a little stake builder challenge for you all to get involved with. It was a tricky weekend to predict as far as the Premier League were concerned, but that doesn't mean we didn't have success in other leagues. As you can see, here are the winning accumulators since the last episode last week. Obviously, this channel, you get Premier League, Champions League, maybe the odd Europa League video here and there in the last stage of the competition, but over on the Patreon you get exclusive tips and stuff for multiple, probably up to about 20 different leagues. We've got the Scottish favourites double, Celtic both teams to score, Rangers win to 0, La Liga of course, the Alt League 5-fold, which is basically 5 picks from 5 leagues that aren't major leagues. We have, I mean, you can see the leagues here. I mean, the Netherlands, the Eredivisie here is probably about as close to a major league as we've got in these picks here. We have the Danish league. We have the Norwegian leagues. We've got a bunch of leagues. But speaking of leagues, today it is all about the Champions League. I've got a tip, a free tip for every single game for you to sink your teeth into. So let's get straight in. If you do want to support the channel and get exclusive stuff and access to DMs with me, you can use the first link in the description to head over to Patreon. But Borussia Dortmund up against Newcastle. Dortmund getting a win against Newcastle in that game, making the group very, very interesting indeed. PSG topping it, Newcastle and Dortmund on 4 points each. I'm going for 5 points each, 1-1 between the two teams, and my tip is both teams to score at 1.61. I think Newcastle can get something. Again, I'm not happy with the result at St. James's Park against Arsenal at the weekend, but it is what it is. Nothing we can do to change that now. After this, Shakhtar Donetsk up against Barcelona. I think it's going to be another victory for Barcelona. Shakhtar getting a goal against them in the reverse fixture a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Barcelona, and my tip is Barcelona to win and under 4.5 goals. That bumps the price up to 1.66 as opposed to 1.26, which I think is pretty good value, pretty good going. After this, it's Atletico Madrid up against Celtic. Can't believe they drew with Celtic 2-2 last time, but they're going to batter them here. They're going to win 3-1 Atletico Madrid. My tip is Atletico Madrid to win and over 2.5 goals at 1.8. A big increase here, and I wasn't quite brave enough to push the button on Atletico Madrid and both teams to score. After this, Lazio up against Feyenoord. They lost 3-1 in the reverse fixture. I'm going to predict what I predicted last time. I can't get past it. I'm going to predict a 2-2 draw between the two teams. My tip before this 3-1 loss, by the way, was both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, and that is exactly why I do this sort of tip. Sometimes I get the tip right and the result wrong, and that is the point of this. I'm going for, once again, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at a very juicy 1.95. After this, it's AC Milan up against PSG. Last time out, I predicted that PSG would beat AC Milan 2-1, and it ended up being 3-0. I'm going to predict that PSG beat AC Milan 2-1 again. My tip is going to be both teams to score at 1.61, but I wouldn't look past PSG to win at 2.22. Obviously, PSG, they'd probably be happy with a draw. At this point, I would say that kind of keeps AC Milan away, doesn't it? They won't want to lose it, that's for sure, because that brings Milan to within a point of them. So they'll want to win. I would say you could look at PSG double chance and both teams to score if you think it might be a 1-1 draw or something like that. After this, Manchester City up against Young Boys. I predicted City would win 6-0 at the weekend. It was very close. They ended up winning 6-1. I'm going for a 4-0 win to Manchester City against Young Boys. They got 3-1 last time. For some reason, I just don't think Young Boys are going to score. I believe last week, I actually predicted my tip was, in fact it was, my tip was Man City and both teams to score, and I predicted they'd win 3-1, so we got that bang on, but I'm going to go for 4-0 here, and my tip is actually going to be Man City -2 handicap at 1.8, which is pretty incredible. So after that, we have Red Star Belgrade up against RB Leipzig. Last time out, what did I predict? I predicted it would be a 3-0 win to RB Leipzig. This time round, I'm predicting that it will be a 3-1 win to RB Leipzig, and my tip is going to be RB Leipzig to win at 1.54. Last week, my tip was RB Leipzig to win and over 2.5 goals. You could look at that. You could go over 1.5 goals, probably bump this up to about 1.7. Over 2.5 goals, probably about even. So there's a lot to work with. Leipzig, weird team to back these days. They were a lot more reliable in previous seasons. So I do think they are going to get the win. I'm going to go 3-1 here. After this, Porto up against Antwerp. They absolutely slapped them last time, 4-1. I'm going for a similar tale, really. 3-0 to FC Porto, and my tip is FC Porto -1 handicap at evens. I think they are going to run away with this one, and that is it for the Tuesday fixtures. We now move on to the Wednesday fixtures. So coming up, we have Real Sociedad up against Benfica. They beat Benfica 1-0 last time out. This is at home. I am going to go for Real Sociedad 2-1. And I'm torn between Sociedad to win at 1.86, or if I add both teams to score and say Real Sociedad double chance, it becomes 2.25. So take which one you like. I think Real Sociedad are going to get the win. Benfica absolutely struggling here. They need a win, but I don't think they're going to get it against this this informed Sociedad side. Losing 1-0 to Barcelona at the weekend. We did predict that on the Patreon as well. We said Barcelona to win. But either way, I think they can bounce back here and get something. So I'm going for 2-1 there. After this, PSV up against Lens. PSV, we had over 3.5 goals in their game at the weekend. They won 6-0. I am going to go for their first win of the campaign, and that is my voice going. Yes, I have been sick for this last week, so that is that. But PSV to win at 1.75. I like the odds. It looks good. Now, Bayern Munich up against Galatasaray. We correctly predicted that Bayern Munich would win this fixture 3-1. We correctly tipped that they would win and both teams to score last time out. I'm going a little bit mental this time. We're going to go for not 4-12, 4-2, 4-1, 4-2 to Bayern Munich in this one. And once again, my tip is going to be Bayern Munich to win and both teams to score. Last weekend, we tipped Bayern Munich to win at 1.9 against Borussia Dortmund. They ended up winning 4-0. Harry Kane at the hat-trick. I think Bayern Munich are going to win this one. I think Galatasaray are going to score, hence why 2.2, that's probably about as low as you're ever going to get for odds of a team to win and both teams to score, because for them to be able to beat a team that convincingly, but them also score, you're not going to get less odds than that. Maybe 2.1. Like, let's say Bayern Munich against someone, I don't know. There's few teams that they're this much better than who are also very good at scoring goals. Maybe if Bayern Munich played like Brighton or something, you could get odds of about 2.1 for Bayern Munich and both teams to score, because Bayern are considerably better than Brighton, but Brighton are good enough to score. So yeah, very low odds, but it's because of how likely it is. After this is FC Copenhagen against Manchester United. We tipped Man United to win at the weekend away to Fulham. Odds of 2.25. Very similar situation here. And we are going to go for the tip once again. Man United to win at 1.83. This is a massive game in the context of it all, because Galatasaray I expect will lose to Bayern Munich. If Man United can get this win, they go up into second spot. Obviously, Bayern are going to win the group, but can United take that second spot? This will be a very telling fixture as to whether or not they can. I'm going to go for them to win at 1.83. After this, it's Arsenal up against Sevilla. The odds here, absolutely mental. 1.28. Crazy. That's very, very low. I would have expected about 1.5 if I had to price it myself, but Arsenal are very good. They beat Sevilla 2-1 away from home. I'm going for a similar result, 2-1 to Arsenal. My tip is both teams to score at 1.9. I think you can get better value at backing Sevilla to score rather than Arsenal to win and some other kind of crazy result like that. I think Arsenal will get the win, do enough. That will see them on 9 points. And if PSV beat Lens, that will see Arsenal 4 points clear of second place. A very, very good place to be. And they'd be able to potentially secure their qualification before the final match week as well with the double here over Sevilla. After this, we head over to Madrid up against Braga. I think this is going to be just sort of business as usual, nothing crazy. Real Madrid drawing 0-0 to Rayo Vallecano at the weekend. Quite a shock there. But I'm going for a 2-0 home win to Real Madrid against Braga. And to up these odds here, I've gone for Real Madrid to win and under 4.5 goals at 1.8. Much like my Barcelona tip, just the La Liga heavyweights doing what they do without going absolutely mental. 2-0 to Real Madrid. I mean, look at these results here. 2-1, 3-2. I mean, that's Napoli. We can excuse that. I said Real Madrid and over in that one. And then 1-0. Real Madrid, they'll get the job done. It's going to be 2-0. After this, FC Salzburg up against Inter Milan. I love the value here. I am going to go for an Inter Milan win. 2-0. And my tip is Inter Milan to win at 1.6. I think there's a lot of value there. I look at my tips now. You've got Inter Milan, Manchester United to win away from home. I love that away double. Probably odds of about, I want to say 2.6, something like that, maybe 3, something crazy. And then if we look at the Tuesday fixtures, if I just picked out a couple of picks here, we've got FC Porto -1 handicap and RB Leipzig to win. That'll be odds of about 3 as a double. So there you go. There's plenty to choose from for all of these fixtures. So that is going to do it for my Week 4 Champions League predictions. If you want to get more in-depth analysis, accumulators for the European games, as well as Europa Conference League, Europa League, all that other stuff, then you can click the Patreon link in the description. That is going to do it from me. Drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video for Premier League predictions very soon.